I have just put all of the pieces together and cleaned the distiller, and you can see that it's beginning to make distilled water. I've had it going for a little more than a half an hour, and I'm going to try to get close so you can see. Yeah, you can see the drops going in there. This is really exciting, really exciting. I am so hyped about it because I will not have to buy this anymore. I can just use this and then store my distilled water in these gallon jars that I picked up through Amazon. Wonderful system. This system comes with the cleaner and also with the charcoal for the filter. Let's see if I can get that focus. There we go. And then there's the residue cleaner that you use after you clean, and then the charcoal. And what I've done is I've added dates to the top. Every 25 days they say that you should change the filters, so I just put some dates up there so I can check them off as I do that. The video was worth watching. However, I think that it can be improved if the person that's doing the demonstration would give a little bit more information as to how he is orienting each part that came as you're assembling it. And the lighting's quite poor, as is the audio, but it is helpful. I did have to stop throughout to kind of work things out and get them fitted the way that they need to be. So that would be a great improvement. I hope that this has been helpful. Thanks so much for watching.
So this is water that I got from the sink that I will be pouring in here. You want to make sure you just don't fill above the fill line here. And we're going to go ahead and pour that in here. You can either fill it directly from your sink or use a container like I do. This just makes it a little bit easier for me. It does collect minerals at the bottom, things that don't get filtered through your water. So it came with this cleaner. You just do a little bit in there. It'll tell you how much to do. You let it boil and sit for a few hours, and it completely cleans any mineral buildup that is at the bottom. So after you fill the water in here, we're going to put the top. The nice thing about this top here is that there's a seal, so there's no twisting or making sure it's screwed on tight enough. You can even put it on with just one hand, and it's good to go. And then you plug this in, and you want to make sure you go past that white line, which is a little bit harder to do with one hand. Get that in there. The other cord is also like that. It has that white line. You want to make sure that you are going past to make sure that it's connected. And then we have the little button on the side. We're just going to hit that. And then we hear the fan starting right away. I have mine raised up just because we just bought a brand new countertop. Granite top, we want to make sure it's fine. It does say everything's fine with the heat. It doesn't get too extremely hot, which is really nice. And then I just make sure that this lines up right here with this. When you have it directly on the table, this actually fits perfectly right underneath this spout, which is wonderful. And then it does have a lid. I just put it on top there to help keep debris from getting in there. It also comes with some activated charcoal filters that go in this little part here that you'll take out and change out when you clean this. I highly recommend this. This is wonderful. We use this for bottles for our babies, drinking water for us, cooking water. It's fantastic.
So this is the water that was left over from my water distiller. I look in the reservoir where you put the tap water, and it's empty except for this amount of water that's left in the bottom of the reservoir. And I immediately notice it's yellow. Oh god. So I pour it in this little mason jar to show just what is tap water. Do you see that thing floating around in there? There's things floating around in there. Disgusting. This is our tap water. This is, oh, good Lord. I recommend getting a water distiller because water distillers are better than just a plain old water filtration system. The distiller actually, it takes out the fluoride and including like the chlorine and stuff. You should have seen the crud. Oh God, there was a bunch of crud just baked onto the walls of the reservoir where the tap water is. I think it was just like calcium. I don't know what the hell it was, but I recommend a water distiller. This is.
That's the gunge I get out of my water. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. That's one cycle. Move this to one side. That's my jug of clean water. Just see if I can show you my finger in that disgusting gunge. One go, 4.5 litres of water, and that's what I'll now sprinkle a little bit of citric acid on that and clean it out.
You know what to say about New York water, right? This is after one use. One use. That's the shit at the bottom after I got the pure water out. That's what's left. You could run your fingers through that. It also reacts to a magnet. Very nice.
It breaks. And it's noisy. Now it doesn't work. See the button? We have to tape it up. And it doesn't work. It's gone.
button. It's not working. Less than 2 months.